in his first term, there was a feeling of resistance, significant resistance as he came into office. I wonder, has that changed somewhat given the scope of his victory? And you also were just talking about, I've heard you say this a number of times, America being too expensive. That was not the Democratic message last year. Has that also changed given the election results?
Certainly been the case that the people that I represent in the 8th Congressional District in New York and throughout New York City in the 5 boroughs have been dealing with high cost of living in working class neighborhoods for a long period of time. And we're going to continue to take steps to address that back at home. But now we are finding increasingly across the country that the high cost of living, even prior to the post-pandemic inflation, has been a challenge, and that was exacerbated as a result of the supply-demand constraints connected to the COVID-19 pandemic. It's an issue that clearly was put into sharp focus by the most recent results in November. As you pointed out, it was a big, beautiful, overwhelming, historic mandate that was achieved by the incoming president, and I guess as represented by my colleagues in the House and the Senate. It is interesting, if you were going to look at anything as it relates to how we may deal with this current situation, notwithstanding the big, beautiful, historic, overwhelming mandate that was achieved by my Republican colleagues by their own representation. When Donald Trump came into office in January of 2017, having lost the popular vote, there were 241 Republicans in the House of Representatives, 194 Democrats. At this moment, the incoming president is going to be sworn in on January 20th, having won the national popular vote and performed better in places like New York and California than any other Republican president since the 1980s, and he will have at most 220 Republicans in the House of Representatives and 215 Democrats, the narrowest margin of any majority since the Great Depression. To the extent that anyone is interested in figuring out how we, as House Democrats, should approach this incoming administration, I would suggest that one actually take a look at what House Republicans were able to do with an overwhelming majority, or unable to do, in 2017 and 2018, and what we think they're going to be able to do in this particular context in the 119th Congress with a 1 or 2 seat majority at best, and a group of people on the other side of the aisle who can't stand each other.
And on your side, is there less of a resistance posture and more intention to look for common ground where it's possible? Has that changed in any way?
My view is that we should always find common ground, and I was proud to have the opportunity to work with the Trump administration during his first term on historic criminal justice reform, resulting in the achievement of the First Step Act. That's always been my posture, that we should find common ground with our Republican colleagues to get things done whenever and wherever possible. And that is certainly the case at this moment, when we hope that Republicans will keep their word and present a plan to lower the high cost of living in the United States of America. To date, it's been months now since the November election. We haven't seen a single plan, a single idea, or a single piece of legislation put forward by Republicans to lower housing costs, lower child care costs, lower the cost of groceries, lower insurance costs, or lower utility costs. You can't present the American people with a single plan, a single idea, or a single piece of legislation. Instead, you develop a hit list on Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. and nutritional assistance? Were you telling the truth to the American people, or were they lying?